What's up, everybody? It's your boy Joey Work from Pure Bets. We're back. Going to go over every game for tomorrow, Thursday, June 3rd, MLB slate. Today or yesterday's best bet, Oakland first five, easy cash. They're up 5-0 after the fifth inning. That was a plus 100, so that's a winner. That brings my overall YouTube record to 28, 14, and 2, baby. Killing it on these YouTube plays. And if you want to get all my content every day of the week, including best bets, access to our private Discord, you can sign up at runpurebets.com. Use bets25 off for 25% off your first month. You get content from everybody on the team every single day, plus best bets every single damn day. Shout out the chat already in here. My guy, B-Rad Malibu, and my guy, Gregory Russo. Appreciate you guys being here. You guys are the OGs, always here, always bringing positive vibes. I appreciate that. So let's get right into it. Nationals, Braves, under-over. Well, Braves are favored minus 140, under-over set at 9. Corbin, we're getting Patrick Corbin versus Ian Anderson. So Corbin, he's really struggled this year. He enters his matchup with a 6.23 ERA. And he's allowed at least 3 runs in 7 of his 10 starts, including every road start. He's allowed at least 3 runs. And here's another road start. He's getting, obviously, he's getting the Braves, who are missing Ozuna since he was put on the IL. So the lineup does take a big hit with the slugger out there, but they still have a lot of bats and they can definitely score. And Ian has pitched really good this year. He's only allowed more than 3 runs 3 times all year out of his 10 starts. He originally burst onto the scene end of last year, and in the playoffs is really where he made his name. So he hasn't really seen this Washington team, even though they're in the same division. And offensive-wise, the Nationals have struggled to score all year. They're 28th out of 30 MLB teams in runs scored. And as I mentioned, the Braves are having a little bit of trouble scoring as well. I do, however, think they do have some success versus Patrick Corbin, as many teams have done this year, So slightly lean towards the Braves here. But the Braves are the worst team against the spread at home in all of baseball. 8-21 against the spread at home. So nothing official here, but that's just a slight lean. Next game, Tampa Bay Rays, New York Yankees. Ryan Yarbrough, I think, versus Garrett Cole. Am I seeing a line for this one? Not yet. Probably because the Rays aren't sure if they're going to pitch Yarbrough. Yeah, no lines yet on this game. But, as a Yankee fan, one thing sticks out about this matchup, and it's basically the Yankees have a lot of success versus Ryan Yarbrough. Like the guy pays rent every time he pitches in Yankee Stadium. So the check's due, pal, and it's due tomorrow. So Stanton and Judge both bat over 400 versus this guy. They are both healthy and should be in the lineup again. Seems as of lately, a lot of people have been owning Yarbrough. He's given up at least 3 runs in his last 3 starts, and he played against the Orioles and Phillies. The Phillies were hurt, missing a couple guys in that lineup, and the Blue Jays was the other game. So really the Blue Jays, the only really power, good offense out of those 3 teams. And Garrett Cole has really good numbers versus Rays team. Honestly, past about 2 bats from this Rays team, they don't really scare me. I understand they're playing really good baseball right now. I do expect them as a team to regress and, probably miss the playoffs. I really do think they do, because the AL East is very tough division. You got 4 teams in there battling right now, throwing out the Orioles. But, I think as this season gets longer and longer, the Rays are going to slowly fade out. And the Yankees have the better of the bullpens as well in this matchup. That's not even close. So full game is on the Yankees. Obviously, I'm waiting for a price. The price is probably going to be hefty, so I will probably be off this game. Next game, Red Sox, Astros. I got Houston minus 130, 135. Under-over is set at 9. Martin Perez versus Jake Odorizzi. Neither of these starters really do I trust. Odorizzi pitched good last time out. 5 innings of 1 earned run versus the Padres. But that was really his only good start all year. And, versus a Red Sox team who was very familiar with this guy. They have a 359 weighted on base percentage versus him. And on the flip side, the Astros have a 370 weighted on base percentage versus Martin Perez in 116 at-bats. Martin Perez only striking out 12% of batters, and the Astros mash lefties. So especially lefties without an overpowering fastball, and Martin fits right into that category. So both offenses are able to break out at any minute. Neither bullpen's really scaring me away here. The lean is full game over 9. And I may pull the trigger on that one. I will let Run Pure Bet subscribers know if I do, but nothing official right now. But, I will let you know for sure. Alpha says, A's bet very sexy tonight. Yeah, cash it, my guy, Alpha. Gregory Russo says, sorry about the Knicks. Yeah, man, what are you going to do? Still my team. Still I root for them every day in and day out. I am still a Knicks fan, so that ain't going anywhere. I ain't jumping ship. Love the purple hat. Yeah, appreciate it, bro. I got plenty of hats, plenty of different baseball teams, so, I try to rotate them, and we're at the Pirates here. But, okay, next game. We got Rangers, Rockies. Minus 105 for both sides, it's looking like. Under over set at 10.5. Mike Folkolnevich versus John Gray in places. Austin Gomber and others, but I'm pretty sure it's John Gray. First thing, I think, Coors Field, 10.5 under over. That number, may be a little high here. And you would normally never say that in Coors Field. 10.5 is pretty low, but the Rockies are still missing Trevor Story, who's obviously a very important part of that lineup. Today, Jordan Lyle started for Texas, and Antonio Senzatella. They only allowed 3 total runs through the first 5 innings. The bullpens then proceeded to give up 6 runs, but it was still under the full game total of 10.5. And the first game of the series, it was a 3-2 final, and that was after 11 innings. So clearly both teams struggling to score runs, and they arguably get to face, the best pitchers from both sides of the series tomorrow in Folkolnevich and John Gray. So, Folky hasn't been terrible. He gets a great matchup here versus a Rockies team really struggling with the bats. And in 55 at-bats, the team's batting 128 versus him. So the Rangers team, hasn't really seen much of John Gray, being that he's in the National League, but Gray has pitched really good at home, at Coors. Surprisingly, he's pitched really good at Coors this year. He's only allowed more than 2 runs in 1 of his 7 home starts. So, he's pitched better at home than on the road this year, which is, quite funny, but good for him. He's probably put a little extra work into pitching at home, knowing the altitude, knowing everything. So good for him. So I do really like the under here, but I'm just going to keep it within the starters. So no bullpens go awry here. So I'm seeing under over set at 6 via BetMGM, and that's minus 120. This will be an official play for me. Rangers, Rockies, first 5 under 6. Do you think the Astros hang with the A's the whole way? They need to get buried. I don't, Alpha. I don't, man. As you know, I gave out Oakland Athletics to win the division plus 175, and I still am very confident in that bet, and I hope it holds true. And I think, long term, the A's will be proven to be the better team. So we will see, but I'm with it. Jordan Elmore, nice work on Oakland, Joey. Ended up taking first 5 and full game. Good shit, Jordan. Double up, a little casher for you. Good shit, buddy. Appreciate it. So Miami Marlins, Pittsburgh Pirates next game. I'm not seeing a line here. Marlins haven't announced a starter. I'm seeing Cody Petit in places, Eliza Hernandez in places. Basically, Eliza will be activated off the IL tomorrow, so that's probably why it's up. And they'll have to officially announce it tomorrow for him to be taken off the IL. But he did make 3 rehab starts for AAA Jackson, and his third one was on Friday. He allowed 7 runs in that game, 6 earned. And I really don't expect him to pitch more than 4 innings. He pitched, I think, 5 in one of those rehab starts. The others were 4. And then his first start this year was also 4. And his career numbers are not very good. He does get a favorable matchup versus the Pirates, who obviously isn't the best offensively, but I'm not fully sold on him yet. Pirates are obviously throwing the lefty Tyler Anderson. He's given up at least 2 earned runs in each of his last 5 starts. He's almost given up a hit per inning this year. The Marlins aren't an offensive juggernaut, don't get me wrong, but I do see them scoring here. Ultimately, without knowing who the starter is for the Marlins, I am off this game, but a slight lean towards the over. Obviously, there's no number there. I would expect the over to be probably 7.5. Because both these teams not very good offensively. I would assume they keep it low. So 7.5, slight lean to the over if that is it. Next game, Diamondbacks Brewers. Another game, no line I'm seeing. It's looking like Arizona hasn't named the starter yet, but in a couple different spots I look at. I'm seeing John Duplantier for Arizona going against Brett Anderson for Milwaukee. I'm also seeing possibly Frankov going for the D-backs, so I'm not really sure. But the Diamondbacks are pretty good versus lefties. Obviously, they get the old vet, Brett Anderson here. He throws mainly soft stuff, gives up a hard hit rate of 50%, and has trouble with his command at times. So the D-backs bats have come alive as of recent, and I think they should score some runs off Brett Anderson here. If John Duplantier goes for the D-backs, I really do like an over. Obviously, we don't have a number for the over-under here. I would assume it's about 7.5. It's probably about 7.5. And if that is the case, if I'm getting a 7.5 in a Duplantier Anderson starting matchup, I will be on that over. Okay, next game. Finger blast the like button for Joey. The dude's killing it. Appreciate you, B-Rad. Yeah, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at Joey Work. Rump Your Bets on Twitter. And I appreciate you guys. So next game, I got Twins, Royals. No line here either. Looking like J.A. Happ versus Chris Bubic. Two lefties here trending in the wrong direction. Trending in opposite directions, you could say, actually. J.A. Happ, has given up 21 runs in his last 4 starts, a total of 18 innings that was. And his last start was against this Royals team. He went 5 strong, 2 earned runs. But this Royals team bats .310 versus him. They have a weighted on base percentage of .310 versus him. And Bubic also pitched against this Twins team his last time out. He went 6 strong, 4 hit ball, 1 earned run. He has now pitched 5 straight great starts, basically. In those 5 starts, he's only allowed a total of 3 runs in 27 innings. The guy really, since he moved out of the bullpen to the starting rotation, he has really shown some stuff. And the one question mark is he has been susceptible to walks, but a lot of good arms, that's how they do struggle at times with the walks. But all in all, I've been very impressed in what I've seen from Bubic. Remember, this is a guy who pitched in the high A ball in 2019 and made the jump right to the majors last year in 2020 and this year, 2021. So this guy didn't skip AA, skip AAA, right to the majors. And, what he's doing is very impressive thus far this year for sure. I think as teams get more tape on him, they should be able to get things going and should be able to learn, his different pitches and start scoring runs. But the Twins did just put Mitch Garver on the IL. Rob Refsnyder also went on the IL. So today they started Ryan Jeffers and Gilberto Celestino. So all in all, I like the Royals here. I don't trust Happ or the Twins bullpen. I think Bubic can have some success again, and I would roll my dice. Obviously, there's no line here, but Twins will be the favorite. I'd be very surprised if the Twins aren't the favorite. The Twins will probably be a slight favorite, depending on the number. If I could get Kansas City plus 130 or up, I will be on it. Next game we got is Tigers, White Sox. White Sox minus 200, under over set at 8. Casey Mize, Lance Lynn starting matchup here. Mize has pitched much better than last year. Obviously, last year was his rookie year, which was a disaster. But he's pitched much better this year. He hasn't allowed more than 1 run in his last 3 starts. And he's kept his opponent to under 2 runs in his last 5 starts. He obviously has great stuff. Strikes out almost a batter per inning. And he's really limited contact and hasn't allowed more than 3 hits in 4 of his last 5 starts. So, and he pitched against pretty good teams. He pitched against the Red Sox, the Yankees, and Kansas City twice, and Seattle. So, he pitched against a couple tough teams in there, and he's only allowing 3 hits per game, which is really impressive. But again, this is another guy who does issue, a couple too many free passes. He gets a White Sox team, who he pitched against back on April 29th. He held them to 3 earned runs in 6 innings, and he had 6 strikeouts in that game. Altogether, Mize has pretty good numbers versus White Sox team, but they haven't seen him that much, obviously, as this is only his 2nd year in the big leagues. And Lance Lynn, what can you say about this guy? Just an innings eater. Guy's like on autopilot, just cruises. 9 starts this year. He's given up more than 2 runs only once. And in 6 of those starts, he's limited to the opponent to 0 earned runs. So this will be the Tigers' first time seeing him this year as well. I expect him to have a good start. Lean is under, but I don't truly fully trust Casey Mize quite enough yet. So especially versus a scary White Sox team. I mean, I know they've been, hit or miss lately, so the lean is definitely under, but I'm seeing it's already getting bet down to under. It was at opened at 8. I'm seeing 7.5 in places, so it's already getting bet down. So if you have an 8, I wouldn't mind attacking it. 7.5, not too crazy about. Reds, Cardinals next game. I'm seeing St. Louis Cardinals minus 115, under over set at 8.5. Adam Wainwright, he prefers to pitch at home. He gets to pitch at home here. He gets a matchup versus a Reds team who has very good numbers with him. They hit him very hard. They bat 356 in almost 90 at-bats versus him. And Waino has a 647 FIP versus Reds team. So that's not very good. Vladimir Gutierrez going for Cincinnati. This will be his second career start. His first one was his last time out. He pitched really well versus the Cubs in Chicago in his first major league start. 5 innings, 2-hit ball. He only allowed a solo homer. David Bote hit it. I'm not exactly sure. Don't call me on that, but he allowed a solo homer. That was it. He did have a little advantage pitching in Wrigley as the wind was definitely blowing in that game and pretty heavily. So in his 3 minor league starts this year, they were also pretty good, but his career minor league numbers, nothing to write home about. And he's running into a Cardinals team pretty hot at the dish. So all in all here, slight lean to the over. I'm seeing actually it opened at 8. I'm seeing 8s available now. Yeah, 8 on the over, 8.5. It opened at 8.5. Now it's got slightly bet down to 8. So slightly into that over 8, and the slightly is to the Cardinals. Wainwright very susceptible to giving up runs for sure. And as I mentioned, the Reds team has good numbers versus him, but a guy that has crazy home road splits, pitches much better at home. He gets a home matchup here. I think he could pitch well. I just think St. Louis gets to Gutierrez. So maybe the look is St. Louis team total over. Obviously, the numbers get bet down to 8, so you should be able to get probably a 4 at even money. And I'm not totally against it. B-Rad Malibu, be careful on weather in Cincinnati game. Copy. Thanks, buddy. All right. Mariners versus Angels next game. Angels minus 150, under over set at 8.5. Mariners have quietly played some good baseball as of late. 7-3 their last 10 games. That's including tonight as a loss, even though the game is not over yet. But I'm pretty sure last I saw they were down 5-0. So if nothing changes, they'll be 7-3 their last 10 and 8-2 to the under in those 10 games. They've been getting really good starts from their rotation, and the bullpen has been surprisingly good all year, not just in this small stint. So they are getting Justice Sheffield, an old Yankee, is on the hill, the lefty. He's got hit hard multiple occasions this year. He did have his best start against this Angels team back on May 2nd. 6 innings, 2 hit balls, 0 earned runs. Another guy who likes to put on free passes a little too much, and for those reasons, I really cannot trust the guy. He's got hit hard. Obviously he had a good start versus the Angels, but can he duplicate that? They are missing Trout. I get it. But I'm not sure. Griffin Canning going for the Angels. He has really good numbers versus Seattle team, but his year total's not impressive. ZRA is in the high 5s. His whip is almost 1.5. And, he's really struggled this year. I'm pretty sure Kyle Lewis will be out of the lineup again for Seattle. So do I think he can have some success here? Sure. Do I think Sheffield could have some success as well? Sure. Do I trust it enough to make a bet here? I don't. So I am off this game. If forced to take a side, I would take probably the Mariners at the dog price. Chicago Cubs, next game, Chicago Cubs, San Francisco Giants. Giants minus 120, under over set at 8. So, the Cubs have been really hot lately. As have the Giants. Zach Davies going for the Cubs. Guy's advanced numbers, not very good. He continues to get quality starts and pitching meaningful innings for this Cubs team. So he won't strike out many batters, that's for sure, throwing the ball under 90 miles an hour. But he keeps the ball down, relies on the defense behind him, and, funny enough, it's worked. So Anthony DeSclafani going for the Giants. I like him too, but the Cubs team has very good numbers versus him, including a 352 weighted on base percentage, and his FIP versus team 7.48, which is astronomical. That's in over 100 plate appearances too, not a small sample size. So he does have. They have a lot. They have seen DeSclafani a lot. And he did get roughed up his last two starts. Take it with a grain of salt. They were against the Dodgers, but, it is what it is. But before that, he pitched really good this year. He hadn't allowed more than 3 runs in any start. He enters this matchup, even after those two, bad outings, his last 2 out. He enters with a 3.56 ERA in 60 innings this year. And the Cubs' pen has been significantly better than the Giants this year. So no play here because I cannot back Zach Davies. But I guess if I was forced to decide, it would be Chicago. But no play here. And last game on the slate, we got Mets-Padres. Nice little Mets-Padres. Padres minus 170. Under over set at 7 with it juiced to the under. Imagine I'm seeing 6.5 in places too. Holy hell. Full game, 9-inning game, 6.5 under over. 2021. What is going on? Tijuana Walker versus Yu Darvish. Mets finally get back some familiar faces in the lineup as Pete Alonso, Kevin Pillar are back in the lineup. But obviously not an easy task here as they're going versus, one of the Cy Young candidates this year, in my opinion, in Yu Darvish. He did get roughed up his last start in Houston, but beyond that, he's been very good this year. Incredible. 2.16 ERA, 62 innings this year, 73 strikeouts, only 15 walks. The guy has been really, really good. And, he gets obviously a discounted Mets team. Obviously they added 2 guys in Pilar and Pete Alonso, but end of the day, they don't exactly scare me away. Tijuana Walker, he's been really good this year. He's only allowed 2 runs he's allowed 2 runs total in his last 4 starts. He obviously gets a Padres team traveling home after a 6-game road trip in which they lost Fernando Tatis to injury, and they lost their last 4. So I hate that this total is 7, but I guess I think it's fair, and definitely have it lean towards the under here. And obviously, so do the sharps, as it's already getting bet down to 6.5, which is crazy. But ultimately, I probably won't bet that number because you'll get a first 5. That first 5 is going to be 3 or 3.5 juice to the under, which is crazy, man. I remember last year I was making a living off in betting first 5 unders, under 4.5 or 5. If you get a 4.5 or 5 nowadays, they got to be 2 gas cans on the hill. You rarely get a 4.5. You might get a 4.5 at the opener. That's why Rump Your Best subscribers always know I put my bets out overnight. If the lines aren't out, I will hit them in the morning and contact them via the Discord. But that's why I try to beat all these line movements and whatnot. We're doing a really good job at it. So my best bet on tomorrow's slate will be Rangers, Rockies, first 5 under 6, minus 120 via BetMGM. I will be back Friday with a professional fighter, and then I'll be back Sunday with JJ and Holden. Otherwise, everybody, I hope you keep running pure. Hit the like button. Trevor Story would be a great fit for the Yanks. Dragon Z, I agree. That would be great. You move Gleyber to Torres to second. You take Odor, you put him on the bench. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Trevor Story at short. Ooh, in the small park in Yankee Stadium. Saying Story for Devi and Gleyber. I don't know if I'd rather keep Gleyber, man. I like Gleyber. But better be rocking an A's hat soon. Alpha, I bought an A's hat, as you know. I wore it a couple times, but I will wear it again for you in the near future. Don't worry. Damon Santor, I appreciate you hanging out. Jake the Degenerate, Colorado first 5's his best bet, and he said you're welcome. Appreciate you, buddy. All right. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Hit the like button on the way out. Again, I'll be back Friday. JJ will have you covered tomorrow and Friday in the bases. Friday in the bases and Saturday in the bases. I'll be back Sunday with more baseball. And that's it. Everyone, I hope you have a blessed day. Good luck on all your wagers. Gamble responsibly.